Welcome to Beyond the Walls, a podcast where faith doesn't stop on Sunday morning. Together we'll explore what it looks like to take your faith to where you live, where you work, and where you do everyday life. I'm Jared Kendall, joined by Cameron Jinks and Jordan Sheehy. Come with us as we discuss what it looks like to have real faith beyond the walls.
What's going on, podcast world? This is Jordan.
This is Cameron.
And this is Jared. Man, we are so excited for this episode of Beyond the Walls podcast. Our guests today are Janet and Dale Epperson. Just want to welcome you guys.
Hi.
How are you
What's
doing?
going on?
What's going on, crew? Hey, we would love just to hear about you real quickly. Just briefly, who you are, where you come from, how y'all met, things like that.
Go right ahead. Because Dale doesn't remember. That's low blow.
Okay, Janet Epperson. Maiden name was Myers. I've lived in Miami all of my life except the first year and a half. My folks lived in Tulsa, and then we moved to Miami.
Big city.
Grown up in Miami area all my life. I have two sisters. I'm the oldest, two younger sisters. One lives here in town, Anita, and my other sister lives in Cushing, my middle sister. And so, yeah, I've been here. Dell and I were high school sweethearts, except he went to commerce, so he was called a chat rat.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I was from Miami, so I was called a river rat.
Oh.
Hey.
So, hey.
And so
So,
he
hey.
has a different story than I do. I don't really remember him from when I worked at the jewelry store, but I
But does
do
he
remember
you?
No, dude,
Yeah.
I will give you the lowdown on how this came around.
But anyway, so
That's the story right there.
I just remember we dragged Maine back in the day up and down from Security Bank over here to Sonic Drive-In, and you turn around and come back, and the parking lot behind Security Bank, you turn around and go back, and we did that on and off every weekend. So he drove a car that most kids his age didn't have, and everybody tells me that's why I started dating him. It was
She
a
dated me
Corvette.
for my car.
Hey,
Corvette. Old
Yeah.
Corvette.
That's kind of my story, too. I'll tell it another time.
Yeah. I'm Dale Epperson. Lived in Miami most of my life. Dad still lives here. I have a youngest brother is here. And I met Janet. I don't know, this may sound crazy, but I was having my mom and dad pray because I was a senior in high school, and I knew what I wanted out of life, and I wanted a wife, and I wanted to get life started, and so I'd failed a couple times at that, and so I had them praying. I said, Dad, I didn't want to find a godly woman. Took some of our accounting stuff downtown and was looking for a place to park, and I pulled up right in front of Tarwater Jewelry. And there she stood, arranging some stuff in the window, and I was mesmerized. I mean, it's like I knew. It was so bad that when I came home, my dad looks at me and he goes, "Son, are you all right?" I said, "I've just seen the girl I'm going to marry."
Hey.
And he's like, "What's her name?" I said, "I don't have a clue." "Where's she from?" I said, "I'm assuming Miami." And he says, "And you're going to marry her?" I said, "Yeah, but I know the young lady that works in there with her because I go to school with her, and I'll find out who she is." And so the rest is history. It was a God thing.
Amen.
And we've been married 48 years. And so, I would,
Man.
Almost.
yeah.
That's
In
incredible.
July.
In July.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So what brought you all to FBC Miami?
We had been attending Emmanuel Baptist Church for probably 20 plus years. And it's one of those things that you had a season of your life. I won't say that it was tough, but it was one of those seasons where you knew something was happening and life was transitioning. And I can remember because Janet pretty well grew up in that church. I didn't. And after we got married, that's where we wound up landing. Felt like that's where God wanted us to be. It's where we were raising our boys. And I can just remember asking God, what is it you're desiring? What is it? I've never had this feeling before like this. And I went to Janet one day and I said, "Look, I don't know about you, I said, God is giving me complete freedom to leave.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and surprised me to death. She said, I've known that for quite a while. Wow. And so, you want to be obedient. We did not know where we would land. If you had told me we would have been at First Baptist Miami, I probably would have told you were crazy.
What would have made you say that?
Because of just the type of people that came here. It was suits, it was lawyers.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys know me. That's not me.
Yeah.
Okay? Anybody that knows me knows that's not me.
Yeah.
And it kind of took me by surprise. I really thought we would probably wind up Forest Park, someplace like that, and we talked through all that. But we came here, and it did not take very long to realize that this is where God wanted us.
Yeah.
And it was a time for us because we were very heavily involved at Emmanuel. And so it was a time of like rejuvenation, a time of relaxation, of, just coming and sitting and soaking in God's word. And not having the responsibility of teaching, or being a deacon and everything. And so that's how we wound up here.
I love that. You got anything to add, Janet?
No.
That's the story.
What year was that y'all came to First Baptist?
We think about 2010.
Yeah,
Okay.
2010.
About 16 years ago.
Yeah, somewhere like that.
That's incredible.
Our boys, we have two adult sons. They're both married, and they were out of the house then, college and whatever. Some married, getting ready. No, he wasn't married. He was in college, our oldest son. But anyway, so we wasn't tied. We wasn't looking for a church for them, which was important, when they were growing up.
Yeah,
it was important to have a youth group where they connected and a place they could call home. But when they were around, getting ready to go to college or in college or moved away, actually, or both of them had moved away. So
if any of the listeners know who the Johnsons are, that was kind of their story. They went to a different church because that's where their student or their sons plugged in. And then after their sons got out of church, they came back this direction. So yeah, absolutely. Well, what all areas do you serve in our church?
We both lead a connect group on Sunday mornings. I'm an ordained deacon, but I'm also now on staff here with you fine gentlemen.
Best hire we've ever made.
I'm the minister of missions and the legacy group, and I'm loving it. It's absolutely wonderful, and just like when I recognized that God was saying there's going to come a change.
Yeah.
I sensed the same thing with this.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But did not know what it was coming.
Well, let's pause that real quick because I want to jump back. I know your story a little bit more than the listeners probably do. Many years ago, you felt like the Lord was calling you into some sort of ministry, correct?
Yeah.
Lay that out.
2010. I mean, July of 2010, because I went back and looked. I thought it was 12 years. That's how time flies. I went back and looked because I wrote in my Bible, today, I surrendered to God for the ministry.
Yeah.
I did not know what that looked like.
Yeah.
I had struggled with that for 2-3 weeks, and the only thing I could come up with was, I just need to be obedient. This is him, not me. And so I went forward that morning. Pastor Rick was here then, told him what was going on, and he said, I just want you to tell the people. And so I did. And I didn't know what to expect. I felt like it would be, mission minded more than anything. And as one of those deals, I was excited because I believed and I knew that God was calling.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what it looked like.
Yeah.
And as it went on, I mean, I'm going, okay, what do I do? And people would go, look, man, they're looking for a missions minister here. One of those was in Louisiana. And so I thought, okay, put a resume together, send it. I have no college education, but if God is in this, I got a really nice letter. But we've already found someone, And so after a period of time, I really began to wonder if I had heard incorrectly.
Man.
But I could go back to I like to call them Jobbik moments, where God put a marker down for me.
Come on.
And said, this is what I require of you, your obedience. You've responded in obedience. And so I took that as, you're just waiting on me.
Yeah.
And so the only thing I knew to do was to wait with expectancy.
Yeah.
And so I thought, what's that look like for me? And I thought, just continue doing everything you're doing.
Come on.
Keep driving the mission trips, because that's at the time, that's what drove me.
Yeah.
I mean, I always say, it trips my trigger.
My trigger.
And you get to talking about missions, and I get so excited at him funny, and I think about all the places that he's taken me, and it's obedience brings the greatest journey in our life.
Come on.
That we'll ever go on. Yeah. I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
And so to go and just to continue doing, I literally forgot about that. Occasionally that would come up in my mind. But I thought, it doesn't matter. I've been obedient. I've answered his call, and maybe this is all of it.
Yeah.
And so the day that Pastor Jared asked me that in the NEO parking lot, I about fell over. I mean, I wanted to scream, yes. But I knew that's what I wanted, and I wanted to make sure
Yeah, it's so good.
that I was hearing correctly.
Yeah.
So I took a couple months
Yeah.
and prayed through that
Yeah.
and realized it was.
Yeah.
And then I could scream, yes.
Yeah.
But, during that time, I look back now and I can see how God was working and God was preparing.
Yeah.
I would have made a terrible minister, in 2010. I really would have. And I'm not saying I make a great one now, but
That's when we
God
have.
God has well-rounded me the way I look at it.
good.
And I love serving him, and I love serving with you all. It's one of the greatest joys of my life, other than this lady right here.
It's good. It reminds me of the story of Noah. I think we often read Noah and just assume like, oh, it all happened. He built an ark. There were some animals. It's cool. It's like he hears one time, go build an ark. And for 100 straight years, we don't have any more recording of him ever hearing from God again. Hey, I told you this, keep doing it. And people are just mocking him left and right. And I just can't fathom that kind of faith. Like that's what you showed in that season. It's like, I'm just going to continue to faithfully move forward. I'm going to be faithful with a little, and he might give me a lot one day, or I'm going to be faithful with a little, and maybe that's all I get. And here we are today. You serve alongside us. And so that's incredible. That's a super cool story.
And I would tell anybody, if God is calling, just answer in obedience.
Yeah.
And it's his timing.
Yeah.
I mean, I look back and I'm going, when Jared asked me, I shared this with him, and I said, it's been 12 years. I was wrong. It's been 16 years
16.
since that day. And to me, that seems so long. But in reality, it's just a short season.
Yeah.
And it's definitely worth, letting God mold you into what he's desiring you to be.
I think that shows, though, your story is be faithful where God has you in the moment, and let him work out the details later. Yeah. And that faithfulness for the last 16 years brings you to today to be able to be faithful in what he's called you to today. And so I think we see that blessing on not only you personally, but your marriage and the ministries that God has allowed you to take over and lead in our church here. And that faithfulness is a great testimony to our people.
And what makes Dale such a great minister? How many times have you been to Brazil? 20 plus?
Oh, this will be
40 plus?
This will be the 42nd or 43rd chapel to build.
Wow.
So, like, Dale has this heart of going overseas to do mission, but what's so great about it is Dale realizes where his feet are planted is his mission field. So he's not just living on mission in Brazil. It's like he's on mission right where his feet are every single day, which makes him the great missionary that he is. And so I'd love to kind of talk about that as we step into that. Like, as you step into this new role in our staff, legacy ministry really being the primary focus of that. What does that look like for you? Where does the Lord give you vision? What's this new season look like?
I once started praying through this. It's like, Lord, I have no idea. You're going to have to define this for me. And he began to lay out things. And I genuinely love, and I hate to use the word older people, but people my age and up. I mean, I just love being around them.
Yeah.
I look at them and I think they feel so disconnected sometimes from the rest of our church, from society and everything, because so many of them have lost spouses. Their children have moved off. They're not close, and they have a very tight, close-knit group of friends. And I really, if I had to define some of that, it would almost be that they're an inclusive group. And that was one of the things that God was showing me, was that they need to be an inclusive group and not an exclusive group.
Yeah.
And by that, that's one of the directions we're going to work. And so whether that means like being over here tonight with what we done was absolutely wonderful.
Tonight was our generational trivia night, Battle of the Generations, and so we got to see all 4 different generations competing against each other is what Dale's talking about.
Mm-hmm. And on that note, we would have won, but we couldn't remember the answers.
They lived them, just don't remember them.
It's true.
But, and that's just a small part of it. It's a little bit of a daunting task. I'm kind of a little bit overwhelmed. I really am. And you're the one that told me, your deal may look, you and Jared both, your ministry may look a lot like a youth ministry. You may have a younger group and you may have an older group. And the needs of those two are different. But when I look at combining those, I can see how that younger group can meet the needs of that older group. And then we have so many people in our church. Our deacon body right now is killing it.
Yeah, that's good.
They are
Shout out.
amazing. And man, all you got to do is mention something and they are on it.
Yeah.
And so, to get that cross-generational, friendship built and relationship is important. And you're starting to see that in some of them. They are so hesitant to ask for anything.
Yeah.
And, it's like I've told them, if you don't ask, how does anybody know? And so, we've went and had them fill out forms, what is it you'd like done? I mean, like what you had designed, for Big Huge Jumbo Fat weekend, for the work project on those homes was going to be incredible.
Dang storms.
I know.
Run it back. No, I think you're exactly right. And I like the comparison there of student ministries. There are many days where I think it might be better to separate them. And the other days I'm like, I think they need to be together. Like they were meant to be that generation together, and they have different needs and different things, but like they work so well together. And I think the same thing's true with our older crew that we're getting to see out. And it's fun to see even how the Lord's revealing new vision to you of what that ministry looks like, and how the legacy crew doesn't have to just be the legacy crew over here, but they actually get to mesh over into all of our ministries. I mean, that's the whole purpose of the church, is that we together would equip the body, and they play a major role in that. I think it's easy as an older individual to think like, I did my role, I did my part, I'm going to sit in this pew until I go to heaven. And it's like, no, if you got breath in your lungs, like you still got work to do. Like the Lord's got something for you.
Yeah. I mean, some of those people are amazing prayer warriors.
Yeah.
And God's not through with them.
Yeah.
And it's getting them to understand that some,
And I think it's significant that you're putting so much emphasis on that God's not done with them. Not only should we be as a church ministering to them, but they ought to still be ministering inside the church as long as they have breath in their lungs. Another thing that I love about this is, Dale, your wife's sitting right here next to you, and you guys have kind of taken this on as a team.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to see you guys love on our legacy crew in ways that they are feeling seen, and ways that probably the rest of us could not do well. Lord is using you guys in an incredible way with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that in mind, I would love to hear from you, Dale. What are some practical ideas you have for someone who fits this generation, who feels like, I'm getting old, my body's decaying, I don't have a lot to offer.
My body's decaying.
And that's what happens. Your knees get weak, you sit more, it gets hard breathing up the stairs.
And now you know why we can't, while Dale is important to us.
There's a reason why I'm not this pastor of this area. But, I mean, the reality is like, they need to find a place. What's that look like? How do I practically find a place, and where can I serve in those kind of capacities?
I think, I mean, we have VBS coming up.
Yeah.
They can serve there. I mean, these ladies are absolutely amazing. We just have to explore those areas and some of those ideas, and actually look outside of what we might call the normal box for them. And I know, like, at least one of those ladies hosted young ladies during that weekend.
Teresa Harlan, shout out.
Yeah,
she did great.
Girl. And that's all I heard when I took them the other day on a trip, was how much fun. The ladies were just 20 questioning her about that. And she's like, it was wonderful. I hope they enjoyed it. And she just went on and on. She goes, I didn't know what to expect. She goes, they were great. And so she was thrilled to do that.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we look and we go, I don't think they could do that. Sometimes I think they look and go, we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But there's really nothing stopping them from doing it.
That's good.
And so, I would encourage anybody that has prayer requests. I know, we mentioned that on Sunday morning, the prayer cards, and the staff prays over those. If you're looking for an individual, if you have prayer requests, find one of them or get that to me, and I will get that to them, because I promise you, they will pray for you not just once a day. They'll pray for you multiple times a day.
Come on.
I think there's something too that I've been thinking about, because Dale and I went to a movie this weekend, A Great Awakening, and
was it good?
It was good.
It was amazing.
Good.
Some history. I learned some history about Ben Franklin that I didn't know. But there was a quote, and Dale's used this quote several times, and this quote was by the evangelist, basically, of that time. His name was George Whitefield, and he says, "We are immortal until our work on earth is done." And, a lot of times we hear from our older group, our legacy group, well, I'm 80 years old and, I can't do that stuff anymore, or I can't do this or that. But, I think they can pray. And I think they could send out some cards, encouraging cards, or cards to our people, our homebound people, maybe even go visit some of those homebound people. Yeah. I think that's a great ministry. I'd like to see us kind of get off the ground with that. If some of them would be willing to go visit some of these people, and maybe just once a month do that, or send a card, a word of encouragement, something that doesn't take a whole lot of outside your home type stuff to do. Yeah. A lot of them still go to their grandkids or great-grandkids' ball games, so they can drive across town to somebody's house and just spend an hour or so with them. But, we could get a card ministry or something like that going, where they feel like they have a part of the church still, and something that they could do to encourage others.
Good. Go ahead.
I was like, we've seen that, and we've implemented that with our staff of being intentional. And you don't realize how people receive handwritten stuff nowadays. For us, it's so easy in our generation to just. I did it with my worship team today. I just, hey, a little encouragement, just text it out. We started implementing, we call them ICU cards, and it was just these handwritten things. And man, the response that we had from that of you took time out of your day to write to me, even those little things that might seem so minuscule or unimportant, quote unquote, but it's man, people receive that so well. And I think that's what we've seen is such an easy thing that can be done that's so meaningful.
Right. Text messages are great, and I do that, to people too, send text messages. But a lot of the older people, my mom can text, she's 90, but a lot of them can't. The technology, they can't do that, but they could sit and write a card, and sign a name.
A text goes away, but a card you pin up on the refrigerator, you see it, you're reminded of it. It's so much more special than a text. A couple other ways in which I'm thinking about how some senior adults in our church serve is Stephanie Long comes every single Wednesday to the student ministry.
She does.
And man, all she does is she stands in our cafe and helps serve out food, and our kids love her. And if that's something you'd be interested in, I'd love to talk to you about it, because there's space for you in our student ministry. Even our children's ministry, we've got a group of ladies who help cook food for all the children. There's so many ways in which the legacy crew could still be serving in this church. And if you have your own ideas, we would love to hear them and figure out how we can implement what the Lord's given you vision for how you could serve our body. And so, Yeah. Well, one last thing, kind of wrap this up, just so we can hit everybody. We've talked a lot about the Legacy Crew and their practicality. We got a younger generation coming up, and the reason why we call the Legacy Crew is because we're called to leave a legacy of some sort. What does it look like for the younger generation, whether that would be our millennials or Gen X or Gen Z or Gen A, every generation to come, like how do they leave a proper legacy?
You know, I was never a journaler. You know, my handwriting is terrible. And so it just always took me so long to journal. But I started journaling when I would go on my mission trips because I wanted my boys to see how I was encountering God.
Yeah.
And the difference it was making in my life. And so I've got those. And, you know, it is so exciting to see the students every Sunday morning when Jared or whoever it is stands up to preach and they've got out their notebooks. And it used to just be them. Now you can look all around the church and people come in carrying those and they are taking notes. And you're going, it doesn't get any better. I mean, you're creating that legacy. You know, for your children, for your grandchildren. That's just one way of seeing them do it. And so I think that's important. You know, and they need to start as young as you can get them doing it.
Let me champion that real quick. What I love that I just heard there is the youngest generation in the room set the tone and everyone else shifted because of it. Like, I think often the high school or middle schooler assumes like I don't have anything to offer this room, and they simply set the tone of I'm going to take notes during service, and that began to trickle from the front rows of the church to the back rows of the church. Which is incredible. I know there are people that knock me a little bit because I use a tablet, you know, but I can type and I can read it. And I can do it quickly. If you could see my electronic Bible, it's got the little note icons everywhere. You know, it's great. I love it.
Well, man, as we kind of wrap all this up today, we've heard be faithful where God has you in the moment. To obey is better than sacrifice. To follow his call. Don't ever give up. If he has called you to do something, he will equip you, and it may take a day, it may take 16 years, but don't give up on it. And you never know when that moment is going to come when he fulfills that calling in your life. And whether you're 11 years old or you're 111 years old, be faithful in what he's called you to. Every one of us is leaving a legacy. I'm reminded in this moment that, you know, we're not guaranteed tomorrow. And so whether a 10-year-old, God forbid, passes away tomorrow, they have a legacy that they're leaving. And whether your body decays, as Jordan said earlier.
Your knees get weak.
And you live to be 110 years old, you leave a legacy. That's our goal, is outside these walls. It matters what we do inside the walls, but our legacy comes with how we live out our faith outside the walls.
One thing I want to add before we wrap this up, man, as I hear Dale's story, and I hear a lot of our students say this, and maybe you've said this at one point, you feel this urge or calling in your heart that God's called you to do ministry work. I just need everyone to know you don't have to be employed by a church to do ministry work.
Right.
Like Dale was doing ministry work long before he was ever on staff here. And that's what the Lord calls all of us to do. And so you might have a vocational calling that he's calling you to right now. Be faithful where he has you. It might just be God's calling you to be a minister in the workplace you're at. Be faithful where he has you. You are called to be a minister, so be a minister where you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, as we wrap this up again, I just want to say thank you to Dale and Janet for joining us this evening and coming in and sharing a little bit about our legacy ministry. We're excited. I believe the best days are yet ahead for our church, for our ministries, and I'm so thankful that you answered the call. And that we see God blessing our legacy ministry and the ministries of our church. So once again, you know, we seek in our church to do one thing, and that's for all our generations. We seek to love God, love people,
and make disciples. See ya.
Bye, y'all.